Hey guys, it's rpvarela here. Before I start today, I want to make this tier list sort of video. So the reason I'm making this instead of a usual Fall Guys video, there are several reasons, but the main reason is, as of today, the 20th, this is the last day of Fall Guys before it goes free to play. So it marks the end of an era, right? Kind of the end of a whole era that lasted years, like 2020 to 2022, sorry. And I felt like wrapping it up, concluding this part of Fall Guys life cycle with a video. This is gonna be a very long one. If you don't like long videos, I'm sorry. I gotta make this because I want to. That's how this channel works. So I'm gonna be ranking the levels. And before I start, I gotta make a few notes here real quick. First, I took the liberty of altering the tier list so it has names, like instead of letters. Excellent. The best levels there are. My absolute favorites. Very good levels. They are not as good as these, but they are very good still. Good levels. Maybe they have one thing or other that kind of drags them down. Maybe a variant, something like that. Okay levels are just okay. Nothing special about them. They're just okay. Bad levels are like, yeah, it could be better. It's not quite okay. It has a few problems that bring it down a bit. Really bad is the one I really dislike playing. All four are like irredeemable. These are the ones I like. I would rather play anything else. These are the awful ones. So this is the first thing I gotta say. The second thing, these levels, they are I organized them in alphabetic order and by type. So we have starter races, we have other races, we have survival, logic, hunt, team games and finals in that order. And this one, since they don't have an icon for Invisibeans, I'm just gonna use this placeholder image as Invisibeans or Sweet Thieves, like actually the actual name of the game. So we're gonna go in order, and the final thing I want to discuss is the changes I'm planning for this channel. So because Fall Guys is gonna go free to play, and I feel like this is a good point that marks, I will no longer be recording a Fall Guys video a day. I feel like I want to try different things. I'm kind of burned out. I've been doing this for years now. And I want to go play other games, record other things. I'm not going to stop playing Fall Guys, but I'm going to stop recording it. Like, it's starting to feel like a chore. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to do this anymore. So I'm going to play games in a more laid back tone like I used to. Play whatever I want, make a series, all the good stuff. Anyway, we're going to start now then with the starter races, fittingly. So what makes a good starter race, in my opinion, the ability to shave off seconds like a speed run. You get the most efficient path, you get better at it every single time. And choice, if you have choices, like, it helps a lot. So that said, let's start with Big Fence. Big Fence is easily my favorite starter race. It has multiple paths you can take. I mean, the paths don't vary a lot. I mean, you can go left or right, but depending on the position of other beings, depending on position of the blades you can choose at the moment, there are shortcuts you can take. You can jump and dive over blades. You can jump and dive over the middle of the blade of the fan. I mean, the variants are all good, all of them. They all make the level easier, but they add fun, I think, to variety. I would say it has a problem, not for me personally, but I see a lot of starter players, beginner players, struggling a lot on it, like getting stuck. Happens a whole lot. In my opinion, it does not diminish the fun I have with the level, my view, my perception of the level. So I'm gonna place Big Fence as an excellent level. To me, it's the best starter race still to this day. Now let's move on to Dizzy Heights. Now Dizzy Heights is an interesting one. I feel like, I don't know if that makes sense. I compare Dizzy Heights a lot to Hit Parade. If you guys watch me, you know I've done this comparison multiple times. I find Dizzy Heights to be the best of the two. And I feel like it has some strong points to it. You gotta pay attention. This rewards attention. If you pay attention to the layout, you know you have to take the left path or the right path. It lets you shave time by being effective with the discs, by diving through the cannonballs to the side of them, by trying to stay on top of the second path, by making the best path you can do around the cannonballs at the very end. The variants add a lot of fun to it, a lot of fun. One of the most fun variants in a level. No floor, so you have to take the lower path. The bonkuses that drop you down if you're not careful. You gotta be mindful of your dives. The final section has so many variants, like the spinning beans, the smaller discs, the smaller platforms with the spinning beans. So many variants they add to it. The cannons that shoot fruit, the hammers instead of the cannons. There's so much to it. Is it as good as Big Fins? I don't think it is. It's still a very good level in my opinion. I would place this one in very good, for all the reasons I just said. And we are moving on to Doordash. Now Doordash is probably the simplest starter race. Gotta be one of the simplest, right? You run forward all the time, crashing into the doors. I mean, choosing the right ones. If you're behind, you're gonna follow the leader. If you are in front, you gotta be the leader. And you make it to the end. You have a big drop, and then you get to the end. That's Doordash. It's ridiculously simple. There are some variants. Some of them work, some of them don't. I do enjoy the donuts do add a little bit of complexity. If you're not paying attention, they do add a little bit of trouble for you. Season 5 added a bunch of variants that are a lot more fun, like the discs, the conveyor belts. Added the water park, as I call it, the water section with the balloons. In my opinion, it's not a great race. It's not. I used to hate this one. Like it was bad in my opinion, but I've come around to it at this point. There are so many worse levels, and this one I'm gonna say the one thing I like about Doordash a lot is that it's quick. It ends fast. And there is some degree of skill you can employ. Like you run for the door and bash into it. If you don't get it, find the other door. I mean, find someone else who gets the other door and follow them. You usually qualify. Usually. The Big Eaters variant also, by the way, I forgot to mention. It's a good Big Eaters, one of the most fun. Also works for Dizzy Heights. Very fun Big Eaters, by the way. And the fan at the end, it's whatever. So I'm gonna place this one on okay. I wouldn't say it's good, it's okay. But as far as okay goes, it's very close to good. Full Tilt. Full Tilt is an interesting one, isn't it? It took Sisal and made it a lot better, like way more fun. You have choice of paths. You can take the middle path at the very beginning if it's very risky because you can tilt. You can take the lily pads on the way. You can to the very end. You can take lily pads. You can choose the longer paths, which is safer discs, less donuts spinning around. You can grab on the platform if you messed your jump, if you have a chance to recover. Very fun level, excellent level. I would say the only reason I'm not gonna place it higher up, it's because it needs variants at this point. But as far as Season 6 goes, this is the strongest level without any variants, in my opinion. The one that remains the most fun, even without any variants. So I'm gonna say it's very good, but not as good as Dizzy Heights, because Dizzy Heights has more variants. That's my opinion on it. Gate Crash. I compare Gate Crash to Doordash a lot. They have their names swapped, by the way. If you think about it, you crash into gates on Doordash, and you dash towards doors into Gate Crash. It's the other way around. Anyway, Gate Crash is fun. Also like Doordash, very fast. Involves doors. Rewards your ability to predict, to time things correctly in your head. If you've ever watched me play, you know I'm gonna be like, oh, this door's gonna be open by the time I reach it. This door's gonna be open. This door's gonna be open, and I clear it very easily because I got used to it. And I gotta say, Season 5 again added a lot of fun variants to it. The donut rings, the pendulums. What's the other one? I think that it has conveyor belts too. The Big Eaters, I'll say it's one of the worst. I never take the Big Eaters on Gate Crash. There's no reason to. It's risky and unnecessary. But it's a good level. Is it very good? It's in the same tier? No, but it's a good level. I would say good. Hit Parade. Hit Parade is a level that has a few things going for them and a few things that go against them. I would say it has some. The variants don't add a lot to it. It's not a lot of fun variants to think about. I think. Well, the at the very end, the hammers are actually more enjoyable, and most variants are like kind of boring. Like the vertical pendulums don't do a whole lot. The spinners with the instead of the gates, it's like annoying. One of the most annoying variants. There's nothing too exciting to it in terms of variants, indeed. I'll say it has one good thing: is the lower path being faster. You can, if you know how to drop to it and get a lot of momentum on it, it's great. And the main thing is you gotta be first on this final section, right on the screenshot here. If you're one of the first here, you're gonna usually have a better time. If you're not, you're gonna be in hell. If you reach this part with a lot of other players, this is gonna be hell. There's a very good chance you can lose because you were too late. Maybe you messed a jump up or something. But yeah, I compare this to Dizzy Heights in that it has a split path. Even though there's a better path you can take. There are some obstacles you gotta avoid, but overall, Dizzy Heights is a much better level. It's not even close. But I'm gonna say Hit Parade goes in good. I even prefer Gate Crash over it. I would say I prefer Gate Crash over this one. Night Fever. Night Fever was the first starter race to be added after Season 1. The medieval theme from Season 2 right here. And I remember when it came out, it was really hard. People were struggling with this one, and it was one of the hardest races at the time. People didn't know how to deal with thick bonkers. So, do I enjoy it? I enjoy it a great deal. I like the... again, you can shave seconds throughout the whole thing. If you can time your run, you can clear the half pipe very easily. You can jump on the slope and dive all the way down quickly. You can dive to adjacent drawbridge when it's lowered, so you can continue on your momentum without slowing down. You can, and then there are the variants. There's a seesaw variant. There is a fan variant. There is lots of obstacles on the slime slope. Some of them are lame, like the flippers, but most of them are cool. The donut one is pretty interesting. You can jump and skip the whole thing if you know how to do it. The fans make it easier if you're on this half pipe. I like it when they add easy variants, not for my sake, but for other players. I like that new players get an easier time at some levels. I would not place it as high up as big fans, not really, but I will play it very good, and I will play it over this one. No, actually, I'll place it below Dizzy Heights. I still prefer Dizzy Heights. One thing I like a lot about the Night Fever is that the Yeetuses are fantastic, but so is the one in Dizzy Heights. So, sorry, you're gonna stay there. Now, Lily Leapers. When Lily Leapers came out, I said it was the best starter race in the game. I have since revised this statement. I don't think it's true anymore. Because as fun as it is, there are two big things I have against it, like two problems. One, because of the obstacles are almost exclusively lily pads, it gets repetitive, really repetitive. In Season 5, I got to a point where I was like, man, I'm tired of our Lily Leapers. And the other point is I think they made it too hard. If you ever play Lily Leapers, especially as round 1, back in Season 5 it was a lot more common, you would see a lot of players struggling to make it to the end. So what happens is you're gonna qualify and you're gonna have to wait until like 5 minutes until everyone struggles and fail, and then 20 out of 41 qualify instead of the 41 we should have. It's something like, not okay, maybe I'm exaggerating a bit, but it was something like that. Do I enjoy it still? Yes, it's a very good race, but I don't rank it as highly as I used to. Not anymore. The variants, honestly, aside from a few in the very final sections, didn't do a lot for them. I like the hard mode exclusive ones. They can be interesting. I like the logs on the sides. I like I like that you can take a side path and skip a whole lot of this section here in the picture. So yeah, it's a fun level, a very good one, I would say. Not as good as these, but very good still. Party Promenade. Party Promenade came to the game like along with Full Tilt. It's a very fun starter race, gauntlet kind of race. It has a lot of fun things going for it. At the very beginning, you can choose, try to land on the faster pipes. You can try to skip the water balloons. You can jump over the obstacles. You can take trapezes. You can take side paths. You can time your trapezes correctly, so you can skip a whole lot of the level with your proper timing to grab onto another trapeze. Incredibly fun to do. The only reason it's not going to be as high, again, is because it has no variance. I still prefer it over Little Leapers, but not as good as Full Tilt in my opinion. I still prefer Full Tilt. Let me drink some water because I'll be talking a lot. Roll On. Roll On is an interesting one. When it came out, I often would forget, I mean, a while after it came out, I mean, forget it existed. Because my mind is anchored on Season 1 because of the aesthetics, and I always forget it released with Season 4, so I'm like, when I try to remember Season 4 levels, I'm like, I'm forgetting something. And then it's Roll On, I always forget Roll On. Roll On, I always said this, I feel like it's a little boring. Because at least in the default version, you run forward if you know, maybe you bend it a little to the left or to the right accordingly. You run forward all the time, jumping here and there, maybe jump and dive to skip a section. And you get it to the end. There is not a whole lot going on. The variants, none of them are interesting. In my opinion, none at all. You have the hammers. Okay, the hammers can add a little chaos. They can be tricky to deal. But ultimately don't change the level too much to warrant anything. The flippers or the boxing gloves, I mean, are whatever. They don't do much. Very easy to avoid. The final platform being replaced with a fan also doesn't do a lot. A little more annoying maybe, but still doesn't do a whole lot. And the Yeetus is probably one of the worst in the game. Easily. That said, yeah, I wouldn't say it's a bad level. And I'll definitely say it's okay. The reason I'm ranking it even lower than Doordash, as absurd as it sounds, you must be like, are you crazy? The reason is, Roll On, at least before it was patched, took a lot of time to end, and people would get respawned a lot. They would fall off the map and respawn and try again, and it took forever to finish. Just like Big Fans, just like Little Leapers. They have since made it better. But it's still annoying to play through, I think. You qualify and you have to wait. It never seems to end correctly, everyone qualifying. So yeah, I think it's just okay, even below Doordash. Seesaw, like I said, it's Full Tilt but worse. Seesaw has a big problem that if you spawn in the front row and you can keep your momentum, you are not gonna be playing the level. You're gonna run forward, jumping here and there, and nothing will happen at all, and you're gonna qualify just fine. If you're behind, you're gonna be in hell. The people are gonna be tilting the seesaw. You're gonna be unable to cross because they're too greedy and they don't wait. The seesaw is gonna tilt all the way. They're gonna fall off the map. Then you have to wait for the seesaw to reset. Except that as it's resetting, people on the other side are gonna jump into it, set it back up again. You can't jump on it. You're gonna be trapped for a while. It's gonna be annoying. So yeah, it's not a very fun experience. I would rate it below these levels. I think it's the worst starter race. I'm just gonna say it right now. Worst starter race in the game easily. It's not a bad level still. You can see I'm placing it on okay. But the flaws are not enough to call it good. The Yeetus also sucks. Anyway, Skyline Stumble. Skyline Stumble was the starter race for Season 4, the futuristic themed season, along with Roll On, but this one's the much better one. Skyline Stumble is a level that's interesting. It started out really good, and it only got better with variants, in my opinion. You have okay, the first section is maybe the most annoying one, I guess. because you have to deal with those cannons that shoot planets and such on you, and they can be annoying to deal with. I'm sorry, it can be annoying to deal with, but after that it's a section with the cannons and the buttons. Then you have the light bridges, then the maze, then there's the slime slope, and then you have to go up the pinball wall, or I call it pinball wall, the pinball flipper wall. I feel like it's a very fun level, and the variants have only improved. There is one that replaces the shooting range with thick bunkers and a fan. There's the single light bridge variant. There is a few variants for the obstacle after the slime slope with the spinning plate, the spinning beam. The Big Ethos is very fun, both of them, but I prefer the second roll. It's a very fun level all around. I would say very good. Definitely better than Dizzy Heights still, and one of the best starter races they ever made. And now we have the Whirligig. The Whirligig, I gotta say, the Whirligig was the original best starter race in the game, in my opinion. Back when Season 1 launched, I remember really enjoying the Whirligig. Today it has a few of the Season 1 problems, like there are some sections that are like empty, there's nothing fun to do on them. Spinning hammers added a little bit to that empty section before the fan blades. Some variants at the final bits are fun, the spinning plates are fun. The smaller spinning plates as well. The double beam is fantastic. I like that you can skip the first conveyor belt by jumping and diving. The Big Ethos is annoying. It's meant to be an obstacle though, so yes, makes sense. I like that you can take the middle path on the final conveyor belt. This is very fun if you can pull it off. Yeah, it's still a very good race. Not as good as Skyline Stumble, but still a very good race. I don't think anything is gonna get very close to my friend Big Fans here. Now, Treetop Tumble is very interesting. Treetop Tumble reminds me of Dizzy Heights in a few senses, that it has a split path, but the difference is that Treetop Tumble has split paths throughout the whole thing. You can fall from these plates, you can fall from the lily pads after, then you joins up again. Then you can fall off the bridge, then you can fall off the rolls into the rhino pit. And then you have to choose between middle path with the inflatable frog or side paths with the slides. Insanely fun level. I will say I dislike most variants on it. No, that's not true. I dislike some variants, I like some others. Like the starter area having beams on the discs is a little annoying. Not too much. The lily pads are cool. I like the fence on the lily pad on the water zone. I like the fruit cannons to add variety. I like those are the ones I like. I don't like the fence on the bridge. I don't like the fence on the rhino pit. But overall, it's a very good race. I'm gonna say it's also excellent. It gets up there with Big Fans, but not as good as Big Fans. Nothing is as good as Big Fans. That said, it's a very good race. One of my favorites, as you can see. Tundra Run. Tundra Run is an interesting one. I compare it with Night Fever in a lot of ways. I don't know why. I'm sorry, I woke up very early today. And talking a lot makes me a bit like yawning a lot. Anyway, Tundra Run. To me, Tundra Run is a fun level on its own. It also suffers a bit from the seesaw problems, in that if you're really far ahead, you're gonna really benefit from it for a while. It has a few fun shortcuts you can take. You can take the boxing gloves in the middle, and it's exactly this part instead of the side paths. And if you can dive, you can skip a section of gloves. You can do the double flipper at the end. This is very fun, the double flipper at the end. Some of the final bits have fun variants. What's it called again? The thick bonkers at the end. The fan at the end is very fun. But overall, aside from these variants, it's mostly boring variants, right? You have the bonkuses, which are whatever. You have extra boxing gloves, which don't do a whole lot. You have fruit instead of snowballs. It's not really amazing. In the end, I feel like it made the level a little boring. Oh, by the way, I think Full Tilt is better than Night Fever. No, it's not. So yeah, I would say Tundra Run is good. It's the best of the good races, but it's good. It's just good. And that wraps up our starter races, all of them. This is my tier list for them. Now let's add the other races to the mix. The non-starter races. Frizzy Peak. Frizzy Peak, I remember it used to be wild, especially in season, I think, 3 and 4. I think those seasons where you could get from anywhere from 10 players to 45 players in this. It was insane. This one, I would say, is probably one of my favorite levels of the season. The only reason it's not favorite because there are some very good finals along with it. So Frizzy Peak, it has everything. There are spawn points that matter, like you can get a great spawning point, you can get an okay spawning point, you can get a bad spawning point. There are some clever shortcuts you can take. You can jump and dive after the fence into the staircase they make before the spiral mounting. The spiral mounting itself is just fantastic. You can risk your way, butt your head against the snowballs on the left. You can try timing your crosses over the boxing gloves on the right. You can take the middle path over the flippers, which is very risky, very rewarding. There is a reward to players who are observant on the propellers at the very end. So you can line up and drop after this final fan here. It's a race that's got it all, man. I used to say Frizzy Peak was an S tier race. Or excellent, I guess. Because it saved us from stuff like Fruit Shoot, Tiptoe, Tail Tag, you know, those levels. And back then it was, but now that these levels are a bit rarer, or at least less egregious, I guess. So I would still say Frizzy Peak is an excellent race, but not as good as these. I prefer to play these two. Still a very good race. Now Fruit Shoot. Fruit Shoot is a level I considered bad way back. I still think it is, if Big Ethos is not present. That's the big if. I maintain that the Big Ethos addition to Fruit Shoot is the most a variant has done for any level in all of Fall Guys. All of it. This here is the easily the best variant in all of Fall Guys. The one that most improved the level. By far. Like, there is no comparison. It's night and day. Fruit Shoot with the Ethos, very fun times. You can skip like over half the level. You can get to the very close to the end. You can just skip a few things and then you're there. Fruit Shoot without the Ethos, misery, pain, tears, awful. There are variants as well. Some of them are annoying, some of them are whatever. Like the balls and eggs or whatever. The banana only variant is hell. The berry only variant is hell. The watermelon variant is hell. There are different flavors of hell, but they all work. So I'm not mad about them. I like that they exist. It can be very tricky. When the single fruit variants are really deadly, all of them. I would say now that the Ethos is present, Fruit Shoot becomes a good level. It's not very good. Don't get crazy. But it's better than these. Well, with the Ethos. No, it's not better than Hit Parade, come on. It's close, but no. Pipe Dream. Now, Pipe Dream is just fantastic. This race is awesome. There are multiple paths you can take. That the key here is that you don't always know what's gonna happen. The pipes are random. So you can go to the left island, to the right island, you never know. But it's always fun. All the islands are fun in their own way. Maybe the first fan island is a little annoying, but not too much. In the very end, you can skip the seesaws if you time it properly with tilting platforms. You can choose the trapeze, you can choose to walk on the pipe, you can choose to jump into the pipe. There are so many ways to finish the level. The one problem, again, Season 6, no variants included. It's the only reason I'm keeping this below Frizzy Peak, because if this had variants, it would easily be like here for me. But because it has no variants, it's gonna just be here. Which is still great. It's still an excellent race. Moving on to Short Circuit. Short Circuit is a race that started out amazing. You could speed run this thing. Like, you had such a state of flow throughout the whole thing that was amazing to go through. You could get the flippers and skip ahead. And then they added variants and they became a lot more annoying. The gates, I mean, it adds flavor, but it's annoying to cross. The X's over the gravity fields are annoying. Some of the corner obstacles are more annoying. The beams are annoying. The pinball flip. So they made it way more annoying with the variants. More and more and more. So a level that used to be excellent for me just went down and down and down. And now I think it's just good. And even then, I'm like here, like maybe here. I would prefer to play it over Fruit Shoot, but it's like not even close to what it was for me. Slime Climb, I'm just gonna get straight to the point. It's the best level in all of Fall Guys. Still to this day, easily the best level in all of Fall Guys. Like, there is no compare for me. It has everything. It has varied obstacles. It has challenge. It has no guarantee that you're gonna qualify. You can die at any point. It has no guarantee that a lot of players are gonna qualify. You can have like 3 players if it's really hard. The variants have really enhanced this level so much. Almost, I don't think there's a single bad variant on Slime Climb. I can't think of one. It's so good. It's just so good for me. I like every single thing about this level. Easily my favorite. It's gonna be on top. Moving on. Ski Fall. Ski Fall I find very boring. I'm gonna be. I don't like playing Ski Fall. I think it's a slow race. It's like mechanical. You just do the one optimal strategy of going to the side, getting the middle ring, going to the side, getting the middle ring. That's all you do. It's annoying to me because it has a great mechanic with those massive ring wheels, and you win by not interacting with them. It's the best way to win. They made some variants to force you to engage with them by placing flippers right at the corners. Nah, does not do a whole lot. Some variants are interesting. I like the thin ice ending. I do like the fans and the low gravity. But overall, it's a very boring race. I would place it in okay, even below these here. I would play Seesaw over Ski Fall. I'm being completely honest here. It's a very boring race to me. Now the Slime Scraper. It's a very good race. It's like Slime Climb 2.0, or so they try to sell it. I don't think it's as good as Slime Climb, mainly because it does not have the level of variance Slime Climb has. And even then it's not as exciting to me. I don't think. It has less opportunities to do cool skips. I mean, I know there's the laser skip on the swinging thing, but it's clunky, it's annoying to do. Other skips are not as reliable. So it's not as fun. If it wants to be Slime Climb, it fails to be. Still a very fun race. I'm gonna place it on top of very good. Very fun race in the game. Fantastic race. Now we check Tiptoe. Tiptoe is one of the more boring races, right? It's almost completely left out to chance. You can be on top of it all and just lose it all at any point. Kind of annoying when it does, but great for when it happens to your adversary and you can take his place. But it's mostly a guessing game. The platform a fake tile can stand still for ages before it shakes and oh, that was a fake. Not a great level in my opinion. It's not really fantastic to play on. It's fun fact, this is probably the only level in the game that does not appear anymore without variants. It's always gonna have a big Eaters. It didn't always have one. Now it always does. And the Bonkers variants, it's chaotic. It can add a little bit of fun, but that said, it's not a bad race. I would place it in okay. But like, okay, below, yeah, this is the worst okay race. It's almost bad, but it's not bad. It's getting there. Wall Guys. Wall Guys is a fun race. I think it's very fun to play. It can get annoying with body blocking and such, but it's usually when you can get ahead and you can set up a path or plan out a path and take it, or set it yourself before people get to you. It's good. I like that you forces you to think fast. Oh, I gotta go for this block, and then I can go for that one. You know, on the fly. I like the challenge of thinking on the go. I think it's a very good race. But how good is it? No, I think it's just good. But I'm gonna place it on top of good. I like Wall Guys quite a lot, but not as much to be very good. It's good. It has issues like body blocking is the main issue, and it's a big one. That's why it's so low by comparison. If it was less body blocky, I would place it maybe very good or even no, not excellent. No, let's not say excellent. I do like the variants. I like the ramps. I like the fan blocks. Very fun that they added those. And finally, we're done with all the races. This is the tier list for all the races. The tier list so far. Let's move on to survival levels. Survival levels. So big shots to start. Big shots is easily the baby version of of a survival level, right? You stand on the seesaw and you wait. Oftentimes it will qualify more players than intended. Not enough people will be eliminated. You're gonna move on to a crowded next round. Could have been a final, but it's not gonna be a final. Happens a lot of times. Some variants are interesting. The 5 cannon variant is far more fun. The X in the middle doesn't do a whole lot. The fruit still don't do a whole lot. I would say it's a pretty boring level. I wouldn't say it's bad. I would say it's okay. I would play it over Tiptoe for sure, and Skiffle. I place it like, this is like very little difference. Seesaw and big shots are almost interchangeable here. I guess because it's also a one seesaw. But it's a bit boring, I guess. So I say this is a good place. Between here and here. It doesn't matter. Oh, whoops. Seesaw and big shots are together in this one. Now Block Party. Block Party used to be here in OK as well, but because of the new variant with the crazy parkour you gotta do, I think it became good. How good? I would say around... this here sounds good. Sounds good enough. Better than Hit Parade, not as good as Gate Crash. Can be fun, can be very boring. It's just the default version. If it had more crazy variants, maybe it would be higher, but as of it is, I think this is a good place for it. Hoverboard Hero. Hoverboard Heroes is easily my favorite survival level in the game. Like, no contest. Honestly, I'm gonna lower Treetop Tumble. Yeah, I'm just looking at these, I'm like, no, this is better than... These are better than Treetop Tumble. Anyway, Hoverboard Heroes, fantastic level. The variants added a whole lot to it. There are some very nasty variants, kill a lot of players, very fun. You can do a few tricks, like you can grab onto the middle island and to skip the laser beams more easily. You can time your jumps right, you can grab players and push them off if they are on the edge. There are some fun variants at the very end. I would say it's a very good level. Honestly, I'm gonna say it's excellent. But I'm gonna say it's like between Pipe Dream and Hoverboard. They're like together again. Let's place it like this because it's the same thing. Jump Club is another level that benefited greater from variants. I think. I like the extra beans. I like the fruit cannons. Can be very dangerous. It's just a little boring for a while. It's one level where nothing happens for like the longest time, and then everyone seems to die. Very good level, very fun, enjoyable, honestly. I would place it on good. It's not quite very good, but it's good. How good? I would say over Tundra Run here. Here seems fine. Again, interchangeable, or Jump Club, all guys, they're interchangeable, same level to me. Both very good levels. No, very good, I mean, top of good, not very good. Confusing. Rollout is the OG survival level. The very first one, along with Jump Club. Fun level. The variants made it harder, for the better. Used to be more fun when you could really grab and punish grabbers as revenge. Nowadays it's very hard to grab anyone on it, which is a bit of a shame. It lost a few points with me. I would say it's a good level, but I would place it below Jump Club. This seems the very right place for it. Snowball Survival is a level that started out insanely hard because no one knew how to play. And then they learned, and then they added variants and made the balls bounce way more and became super hard again. Not as hard as this nasty thing. But yeah, the variant with the little isolated ice tiles that make it into Swiss cheese is annoying. I got better with the new changes, but I'm still not as good at it. I'm gonna say it's okay. But okay, this seems to be the right place for it. Better than Big Shots. Better than Seesaw 2, come on. Stomping Ground is the first level I'm gonna place on the bad tier. I wouldn't say it's really bad, but it's bad. It feels like you have a very big gap on it. Like the normal version is too punishing, the spinning plate is too easy. Even if you're a seasoned player and you never feel like you're fully in control. At least in my experience, you never feel like you know what you're doing. It always feels like there is a lot of luck involved. And Fall Guys is fine. Luck is fine in Fall Guys, don't get me wrong, but this is too much. The rhinos are merciless, then the more the players die, the harder it gets. So yeah, I don't have a lot to say about it. Not a fun level, I don't enjoy it. Perfect Match. Perfect Match is boring, right? It's just like match the tiles 3 times and then move on. The one thing that makes it fun is that you can bait people on it, but that's not enough to make it fun. I would say it's bottom of okay. It's just like, you know. This is the true okay level, the most okay level there is, the true neutral. This is the 0 on the scale. If it goes from -10 to 10, this is the 0. Exactly in the middle, not fantastic, not bad. It's just okay, aggressively okay level. Now, I'm not including the variant. I feel like the variant is so different. If the variant was being considered here, I would place it higher up, but I never get it. I almost never get Perfect Deathmatch, so I'm gonna keep it on okay. Some Fruit, on the other hand, this one is fun. I like Some Fruit a lot, mainly because I feel like it's more interesting. Like, you have to memorize the number of fruit, you can be confused. It can present a challenge. I would say like this here seems to be the right place for it. It's a I love this level. I love the season 5 themings. I love the fruit. I love the idea of slime that rises and lowers again. I like that you can bait people hard. I like that it eliminates a lot of players. Very fun level. Airtime is a good level that's getting insanely overplayed, especially without any variants. If you ask me around the start of the season, maybe 1 month in, I would say very good. Nowadays, I'm not so sure anymore. Not so sure anymore. I think it's good. Let's place it around here. This seems to be a good place for it. Top of good tier. It needs variants, like desperately. It's fun, but I figure out the one good strat, not the one good strat, but I figure out an optimal way of playing it and I never change it. Make me do something else. Force me to try something different. Don't make me just do the conveyor belt trick every single time. Now Bubble Trouble. This is a fun hunt level. We're moving on to the hunts, by the way. Oh, this is the first hunt, by the way. Airtime is the first hunt. Forgot to say that. Bubble Trouble is insanely fun. Probably the best hunt level in the game. Maybe even better than Airtime, I would say. It has 5 zones. The zones themselves have variants now. The golden bubble spawns always in the same place, so you can't really depend on luck like in Hoopsie Legends. Insanely fun level. The only problem, of course, is that the dreaded log swing version, not version, zone, which you should never go to. Do not go to the log swing zone. If it was like improved in some way, I would rank it higher than this, but as of it stands right now, I would place it over here. Seems fine. A very good level. Don't even get me started. Button Bashers is awful. I have discussed this before, and I'll discuss it again for one last time. There are 4 ways your game of Button Bashers can go. 4 ways. 1. You stomp the opposing player. Doesn't feel good because you crushed a new player. It never feels good. Like stomping hard on a player, unless they are an obnoxious grabber. But even then, it's like I don't like stomping on players. I don't derive pleasure from stomping on other players, just ruining their day. I'm like, okay, man, cool, thanks. Second scenario, you get stomped by another player. Never feels good. It feels hopeless. You're like, they have 10 points, you have like 3. You're not gonna catch up. You know you're not gonna catch up, but you're gonna stick around until the level ends so you can get the challenges for the day and move on. Never feels good. Number 3, you win by a little bit. It was very close, but you won. It feels incredibly stressful. You can't wait for it to be over, and you're like you always have that distinct feeling that you lucked out a bit. Maybe a button spawned right next to you, maybe a button, and then the next button spawned right next to that one, and then the next one, and you got 3 points in a row. Never feels good when you win that way, or just the other player didn't get lucky enough like you did. In the final scenario, you lose, but it was very close. Again, the worst possible case. Like you often feel like if you had maybe one button spawn next to you instead of on the other side of the map, you could have won. This is the worst level in Fall Guys, easily. I hate button bashers. Let's move on. Hoopsie Legends. Hoopsie Legends is a fun hunt game. This was the first hunt game to be added post season 1, and it really needed to be added. It's like Hoopsie Daisy, but even more fun than Hoopsie Daisy. There is so much going on. There is a strategy. There is multiple ways of collecting the rings. You can jump and dive from many positions. The block only variant can be nasty. The accesses are a little annoying, I will say. There are what else is there? The one thing I will say against it is that it favors a single meta, basically, which is control the center more than anything else. The other bad thing about it, golden rings are kind of a big deal. They can drop anywhere and they can save you from defeat. Even if you're playing poorly, if you get lucky enough and get a golden ring, you qualify even though you didn't deserve to. I mean, deserve, quote unquote. And I'm gonna be the first to say, it happened to me a lot. I've won a lot of those just because I was in the right place in the right time. But it always feels cheap, especially when there are few players on it. I've played 10-player Hoopsie Legends back in Season 3. It was stressful, man. For that reason, I would say Hoopsie Legends is a good level, but I would place it around here. Good level. Not very good, but good. Leading Light. Leading Light is probably the least fun level in Season 6. It's not bad, but it's boring. The light changes directions all of a sudden. It's annoying when it does, but sometimes it changes in your favor. It can be good, but ultimately it's just a boring follow the zone kind of level. There's nothing going on honestly. I would say it's just shy of being okay. No, I would play it over Fruit Shoot, definitely. This seems to be the right place for it. It's a good level. I don't have a lot to say about it because it doesn't have anything to say. Penguin Pool Party. Probably a controversial opinion, but I like this level. The layout is varied. You have an upper area, a lower area. You have a hide place behind the frog. There are many variants. The frog benefits a lot from variants. There is those spinning gates. There is a rotating wall you can have. There is a strategy. You can take the slide out and take a penguin quickly and try to get up immediately and stick on the slide to avoid other players. There is a major disadvantage to it, which is the starting position kind of matters a whole lot. If you get a good spawn, there's a good chance you're going to qualify. If you don't, you're going to have to struggle. I would say Penguin Pool Party is not very good, but it's good. How good? Let's have a look. Penguin Pool Party, Wall Guys. I feel like this is a good place for it. It's a good level. Now Tail Tag. Tail Tag is easily my least favorite hunt level in the game. And I would place it here in Awful if there weren't worse levels than it. So that said, you're gonna go into the really bad tier. It's not even the mechanics. I don't mind the whole grab a tail and run around until the timer is up. I've been on the receiving end. I've lost games that on the last second. I won games in the last second. It's not the best way to win or to lose, and it takes points from it. And the main problem I have is the map layout. I hate the map layout on this thing. Just that. That's what I have to say about it. The variants do not help at all. None of them. They tried to improve the level with variants. None of them worked enough to justify the level being considered good. This is a really bad level through and through. Now we are moving on to the team games. Basketball. Basketball, welcome to the awful tier. No, okay, they're really bad. You improved a bit. Yeah, the ball mechanics got better and I learned how to use them better. Still awful. You try to score a ball, everyone's grabbing you over and over. You try to get there and players are grabbing you. You try to pass to your teammates, but they live in a different region or they just didn't see you launching the ball. They react too late. You react too late because you're not paying attention to your teammates. One team can get a streak going and it becomes impossible to recover from. Golden balls ruin the game. No, really bad. Not as bad as tail tag, but really bad. Hoarders. Hoarders, because of the ball, the idea of the game is good, but there are two major problems. The ball physics are a little weird, kind of like in fall ball. I argue it's even worse because of those bumpers in the way. And it's very easy for two teams to bully a losing team and just make their life almost impossible to recover from. I would say it's a bad game. Not as bad as these, but bad. Egg Scramble. Egg Scramble is a very fun game when you have a good team. And horrible if you don't. Again, same problem as Hoarders. Your team can get bullied and there's nothing you can do about it. But if you know how, if the teams are not resorting to bullying, it can be very fun. Like you pass the eggs throughout the center to the little gate you have just before your base. Another bean grabs those eggs and throw them at the base, and they start stockpiling in them and arranging them in a way that protects the golden eggs. It can be very fun in terms of coordination. But because of the very grievous problems it has, I would place it in OK tier. Over perfect match, over tiptoe, not over skiffall. This seems to be a good place. Egg Siege, on the other hand, is a weird one because they made it Egg Siege thinking in lots and lots of players, right? It's a huge map. And then they decided to make it only for small groups like squads and such. Which works, don't get me wrong, it's a very fun level. Again, if you have coordination and a good team. And I would rank it in really bad, but I learned to play in two ways. I learned a strategy to transport eggs more easily, and I learned that you can climb the walls. That was a game changer for me. I did not know you could. I don't know if they implemented it later, if I just didn't know about it. And I'll say defense is very overpowered in this game. That's the main problem. I still prefer it over Egg Siege, but it's a minimal difference. Now, Fall Ball, you're bad. You're not as bad as Hoarders, oops, but you're bad. Ball mechanics are weird. It's very frustrating when your team doesn't know what it's doing. Very frustrating when you screw up and you cause them to lose. Some variants are fun. The spinning plate is very fun. The pendulums are kind of useful. The hammers are whatever. The flippers are whatever. Yeah, that's a bad level. I don't like soccer. Worst Brazilian ever. Hoopsie Daisy. Hoopsie Daisy is probably my favorite 3-team game. No, it's not. There's another one I like more. But it's a very close one. I wouldn't say it's very good. It has a few problems. You have a few strategies there, like you can camp an area very easily, just stay on the spinning plate. But you can also at the same time pivot very easily. You can just leave and go somewhere else very easily. You can jump on this ramp, go up and take the ring in the middle. You can jump down from here. The one thing I gotta say is that there was a variant on it. I'd never seen it again. With fans and flippers. I think it was removed. I've never seen it again. It was very fun. Assuming it still exists. Assuming. I would say this level is good. Not as good as some of these here. I would say around here. Seems to be a good place for it. Jinxed. Jinxed is easily the best two-team game in the game. Beats Fall Ball, beat Basketball, beats Power Trip. Insanely fun to play. I like the tag mechanics. I like that you can dodge and avoid players. There are many ways to dodge them, many paths to go. The variants make it a lot interesting. I'm gonna say it's a good game, and I will even rank it as highly as this. I love Jinx, especially as a final in squad mode. Very fun game. Penguin Pursuit used to be my favorite team game for 3 players until they changed it on season 4, and then it became awful, and then it became great again after I really learned it. You have to keep your penguin safe. There are many ways you can play this. You can do crazy jukes on it, jump and switch directions and drop down and go up. You can be a bodyguard. You can steal penguins from the other teams. You can prevent a team. There's some bullying, definitely. You can prevent a team from doing anything. But yeah, good level, fun level. I would say good, but lower end good. Better than Fruit Shoot, better than Leading Lights, better than Short Circuit, not better than Hoopsie Daisy. This seems to be the right place for it. Power Trip, welcome to the awful tier, along with Button Bashers. This one is the one that feels like you don't matter at all. You can play your damn best and you can still lose by a lot because your players don't know what they're doing. The variants don't do a whole lot. I don't have anything good to say about this level, so let's move on. Now, Rock and Roll is my favorite 3-team game, easily. The one major flaw is that the blue team is kind of screwed in the middle. You can still win, of course, as blue, but it's a hard one. The main problem is this one. The other problem is the variants, all of them, made the level worse. Every single variant made this level worse. So I would say it's above Hoopsie Daisy, but barely. Snowy Scrap is the more fun version of this. Nowadays. I mean, Rock and Roll used to be my favorite. Snowy Scrap, you can be sabotaged a lot more easily. But at least you have less awful variants involved. The spinning plate can be nasty, but you rarely see it. Gold Snow can be a game breaker, but you rarely see it. I would say Snowy Scrap is gonna be... I'm gonna move on. I usually would do it like this, but I'm gonna move up over Rock and Roll. You know, over Hit Parade too. It's good. Team Tail Tag, of course, the only 4-team player game. It's not bad. It's a fun version of Tail Tag. But I would say it's okay. It's like, most of the times you just grab a tail and you run around the top part over and over and over until it ends. There isn't much interaction if you know what you're doing. Players are easy to avoid. There is some juking you can do, but it's just basic. I would place it over these games here. This is enough. It's an okay level. Yeah, over Big Shots, over Seesaw. Yeah, this seems to be a good place for it. And now we move on to the finals. Before the finals, let's do Sweet Thieves. Sweet Thieves is very unique. Its own game, really, the Invisible Team and the Guardians. Crazy concept, insanely fun. You are welcome to the excellent tier. I would place you right here. Very fun things you can do. You can juke a lot, you can take players, you can press the button, you can rescue your whole team. You can you can capture all the Guardians quickly. You can patrol some area. You can leave an area to bait a bean into revealing itself and go back and take him. You can throw the sweets to another player. There's so much you can do. This level is fantastic. Now the finals. Starting out with Fall Mountain, the worst of the finals. Still a very good race. I like Fall Mountain. Fall Mountain is good. It's a lot of luck involved. You can be hit by a ball and just get ruined immediately, but it's a very good race. I would place it over here. No, better. Okay, here is good. No, this seems to be a good place for it. I like, and still the feeling of grabbing the crown is always fun, right? It's a fantastic game. When you grab the crown, it feels awesome. But yeah, it's very luck based. It's kind of crappy in that sense. Hexagon is a race I used to rank as excellent. Not a race, a final, sorry. Nowadays I played way too much. There are two major problems with Hexagon. One, it's overplayed. I played it way too much. I'm tired of Hex, basically. The second major problem, the variant really sucks. The low gravity variant deserves a tier of its own here, in the really bad. So it drags down a bit, but it rarely appears, so I'm gonna say still a very good final. And I would play it over these levels here. This seems to be a good place for Hex. Very good, not as good as these. Jump Showdown. Welcome to the excellent tier. Over, I would say here's a good place for it. I used to rank you a lot higher. You're still a very fun level, one of my favorite finals in the game. But you're kind of ruined by grabbers. You can get screwed over in the right side, in the right platform. The fan is fun, but it can also screw you over in a position that you become it becomes unwinnable. You can just get stuck if you don't cross very quickly. Still very fun. I love timing out on this. The friendliest final if you have no grabbers. The least friendly final if you have grabbers. Lost Temple. Oh, sorry. Favorite final in the game. Easily. You're gonna go right here above Big Fans. The only level that's better than you is Slime Climb. I love Lost Temple. Always a pleasure to play. You never know what you're gonna get. And even if you lose, it's like whatever. You can get a maze. You can have some strategies. You can know some doors are never gonna open if you pay attention. There's the guaranteed fake door that helps you a lot. The obstacles are all fun. Roll Off is one that I'm liking it over Jump Showdown these days. And this is the reverse of Roll Off. Of rollout, sorry. I like that you can grab as easily because it's a final. You can memorize the pattern. You can. I don't miss being able to grab on it, but I like the path memorization. I like the strategies you can employ. You can switch. You can jump over gaps. You can even there are people that even go around walls. It's crazy. It's a very fun thing to do. Some patterns are nasty. Some patterns are fun. You never know which ones you're gonna get. Lots of fun. Royal Fumble, underappreciated grace. I would say it's a very good one. Right below Hex. No, right above Hex. So I prefer to play Royal Fumble. Fantastic. It's the only Season 1 level without any variants, and it doesn't need them. The level is so well designed. This arena is so good. So good to play. There are so many places you can go, so many strategies you can employ to avoid or to catch the player. I love this race. Oh, this final. Thin Ice I'm liking more than Hex, but by very little. They're very similar, of course. But I feel like Thin Ice is more strategic and less chaotic. You can really plan your move. The sad part is that they can plan their moves on you. And you can get on a situation where there's nothing you can do. You can just watch as you lose. But it's a very fun level. I'm glad they brought back to Fall Guys. It's finally restored. Go play it. So that's the end of my tier list. Like you can have a look right now. Again, this is my last video for Fall Guys. I'll be recording other things. I don't know if I'm gonna have a video after this one immediately. I'm gonna think about what I'm gonna play. And then I'll get back to you guys with different content. This is rpvarela signing out. Thank you for watching.